Welcome back, everyone. I am thrilled to return to you with my second Zero to Hero journey. This time we're going to run an Occultist, stacking power charges and exploding with Profane Bloom. This is going to be a fun one. First, I wanted to apologize for the wait on this one. Between work, traveling, and other super important matters, getting all the clips for this video got delayed. To prove to you all that this truly is a Zero to Hero journey, I wanted to show you all Cockman's final moments in existence. He painstakingly sold everything he had to that loser Faustus, just for our entertainment. Truly an inspiration to us all. He is cycloning in the heavens now. And with that sacrifice, we can finally start our new journey. We begin with a slightly misleading name. And get right into things. The basic plan for leveling goes as follows. We're going to start out with rolling magma, as per usual. But honestly, I kind of hate rolling magma, and it's really boring for me. So when we can, we will move to Wintertide brand instead. Then, lastly, we will move a cold power siphon locust mine setup. This was really quite an enjoyable leveling path. As you can see, by the time we are through Act 2, we have moved to Wintertide, which isn't the best skill ever to level with. But at least I don't have to aim this skill. And yeah, you saw that correctly. I just dropped a 4 link in Act 3. I think I'm starting to get some of that content creator luck I see so much of. Unfortunately, something that comes with leveling is that I must kill my old friend Azaro over and over again, just to get nothing but disappointment in return. Although in this case, there is an interesting bit of foreshadowing. If I actually had an idea of what I wanted this character to be at this point, I would have taken KB of Clustering. But at this point in time, all I really had planned was use Profane Bloom. Big explosion. I love the chaos of figuring out a build as I play it. Not sure how well it plays out in videos though. As you can see, we have finally swapped over to a power siphon, locust mine support setup. This is some of the coziest leveling I have experienced from this point on. Quick interruption. Public service announcement. Opening this exact sealed remains container is now League Start viable. That is all. So we kill Azaro again. Get nothing from the Divine Font. Again. But let's circle back quickly to what I was saying before, that really important message. All you really need is Power Siphon, Locust Mine, and Charge Mine support. And you wipe most of the Act 5 plus bosses so quickly that I decided to include some of them in here to show you all. As you also saw there, I purchased Fury Valve. This part of the leveling process is not realistic for earlier times in the league. But hey, it's a massive lift in the damage department for the 4 chaos I have accumulated so far. So I'm going to make this purchase all day, any day. I've had no luck with Azaro so far, so I decided to try a red gem. But honestly, I had no idea what any of these were worth, which made something else very obvious to me. In all the characters I've played in PoE, I don't think any of them used a red main skill. Maybe next Zero to Hero journey? And look at that. Perfect timing. We are done with the boring part. And to be fully transparent with you all, I forgot to reset my Atlas trees. This has actually worked against me though, as I had no maps. And none of my Atlas trees really prioritized getting maps either, which made ramping up to red maps quite difficult. But anyways, enough yapping, more mapping. Power siphon mines are really fun to use. You basically constantly have max power and frenzy charges. And apparently sometimes, you can break boss AI. I don't really know what happened there, but I thought it was funny enough to make sure to show you all. But as you know, Power Siphon Mines are not my final setup, and we make our first purchase towards swapping. Some good old-fashioned Stormseekers with elemental weakness on hit. This is going to make Profane Bloom go BRRRR. And the next purchase I make is a friendly face. Holy shit, we dropped the Divine Beauty. Anyways, the Crown of the Inward Eye. Literally the cheapest one I could buy. Thanks to that Divine Beauty drop, we pick up some boots as well. These have Spell Suppress and Onslaught on Kill, a nice improvement over what we currently have. We also get a shield with Spell Suppress, Max ES, and All Res, which is quite a good purchase. And lastly, we buy some random ring to fix my resistances. With those upgrades, I figured it's finally time to pay Izaro his respects for this final time. Rest in peace, Izaro. Unfortunately, I missed on the Divine font 2 more times. Shocker. I then remembered I had sent out my ships from King's March a few days prior, so I decided to check them for currency. And, yeah, Dead League. Am I right? I immediately flipped that Divine into 60-something toxic sewer maps. The person I traded with was also kind enough to provide me with an extra 28 mod corrupted maps. Really cool of them. Unfortunately, in the current state, the build cannot run them, so we will need to return to them later. I also picked up a Profane wand with attack speed, cold damage, and accuracy, as I had planned on moving towards a self-cast version of my current setup instead of using mines, so that I could use what I really wanted to, Profane Bloom. I started off by self-casting Power Siphon for a while. But as you can see, outside of Profane Bloom, the damage was quite underwhelming. So I went back to using mines for some time to farm currency and deliberate on how I was going to proceed. I wasn't really sure what my final skill setup was going to be yet. I had a lot of ideas, but honestly could not decide. Oh yeah, I guess I should also mention that after the campaign, I swapped over to CI. This is another part of the build that I baited myself into using. CI is one of those things that I almost always think about trying to fit it in whatever build I am playing. I took a pit stop at this point to pick up a new amulet, Maralene's Fallacy. This reduces my critical strike chance, but greatly increases the critical strike multiplier, which should work well with stacking power charges to up my DPS by a significant amount. Around now is when I started to get a feel for what I really wanted to do with this build. I began experimenting with different setups using Kinetic Blast, and later on, Kinetic Blast of Clustering. This is feeling much better. I wanted to try doing some Blight encounters and make this how we farmed currency on this journey. But I'm not strong enough to handle this juiced up Blight monsters. Maybe down the road, it will be different. After being pretty convinced by my trial using KB, I went out and purchased Kinetic Blast of Clustering, which may not look any different at the moment, but after some tweaks, this becomes a much stronger skill to use. And honestly, even in its current state, it is really satisfying to see a build that is built on like 60 chaos of gear completely explode packs of mobs. Profane Bloom is so fun. It is what made me want to build an Occultist, and it definitely influenced the skill I ended up going with. I wanted something to really complement the Corpse Explode by having great AoE that is fast to attack with. Remember when I mentioned that my Atlas trees were not set up to get more maps? I didn't really realize that until I kind of ran out of maps that I could safely run. The rest had brick mods or were 8 mods that I did not want to waste. But I was desperate, so I ran an 8 mod, hoping to get lucky. Yeah, my defenses are just not prepared for this level of map right now. But hey, sometimes you gotta roll the dice. Minus 10% XP, plus 1 Divine. Incredible. And of course, this is immediately flipped into maps. This time I go back to my comfort zone, the Jungle Valley, and it immediately pays off. Well, potentially. Normally, I would pretend I am smarter than thou and sell this key. But I was feeling really good about this one. Imagine how great it would be for the narrative if I hit the juice. Well, I ended up selling this for 10 chaos. So I call this a success. Hey look, an ivory tower. Surely this is a sign. I'm gonna hit an insane corrupt on this. Okay, I lose again. Whatever, I'm gonna go where at least I know I will lose. Chris, take my money. Kinetic Blast is destroying my frames and my eyes, so this will be much better. I gotta give it to them. Now I feel like a winner. This looks really cool. I am quite happy with this. Hopefully, it is better for you all as well. You also may notice at this point that there are more projectiles and more damage. This is because by now I have made a swap in skill gems that really improves the quality of life of Kinetic Blast of Clustering. For one, for support. That's it. And the other is actually Tornado with Spell Slinger support. Because the Tornado cast is instant, is it actually causing the Kinetic Blast to split in 3 directions immediately, vastly increasing the area affected. You also just saw me buy some Corrupted Dodra's Tenure Gloves, as well as Malachi's Loop. Because I am not ailment immune at the moment, I do not swap off my current curse on hit gloves. This is because Stormseekers make me unaffected by shock as long as I am leeching mana. And Malachi's Loop shocks you every time it resets your power charges. However, it is worth it, as Malachi's Loop is an upgrade in damage and defense, as should be a core part of the build for quite some time. And speaking of upgrades in damage and defense, I realized my current belt was still from the campaign. This chain belt is actually a really good deal for 10 Chaos. I love Trade League, though I will note, once I fix my resistances, I would like to give Oxium a try as this should provide better ES, and would work hand in hand with my power charges. And well, this toxic sewer map marks the end of part 1 of my Kinetic Blast of Clustering Occultist. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried this build would fall apart, but I am pretty happy with the direction that this build is going. It is a really fun mapping build that certainly has its weaknesses, but I think there's a lot of untapped potential here, and I can't wait to get back in the maps to continue this journey with you all. Thanks everyone who's made it this far. The support from you all means everything to me. See you in the next one. Llama, out.